I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to Job Search Radio. I like to spend some time 6 days a week talking with you about some element of job search because I believe it doesn't have to be as hard, difficult, painful, or take as long as it does. As I've said many times, the skills needed to find a job are different than those needed to do a job. And what Job Search Radio and my other show, No BS Job Search Advice Radio, does is take a lot of the mythology out of job hunting. It's just another skill that you can learn. And having spent time in search for more than 40 years, filled more than 1,200 full-time positions plus consulting assignments, I'm uniquely qualified to help you with how to find work. And today I decided to do an AMA about job hunting and answer a number of the questions I received. As you might have noticed, and if you haven't, you may be new to the show, lately what I've been doing on Job Search Radio is answering questions from listeners or viewers. I say viewers because as I record this on Facebook, it will wind up on YouTube as well. So people pick up on it there. So I'll just start by saying, if you have a question for me, email it to jobsearchradio@gmail.com. And I don't promise I'll get to all the questions, but I will get to a lot of them, okay? And if you're interested in my coaching you, really very simple. Visit thebiggamehunter.us. On the top, there are different tabs there. Pick the one that relates to the service that you're interested in. So, for example, I do coaching over the entire continuum of the search. I'll also help you with a resume and or LinkedIn profile critique. Help prepare you for interviews, help you negotiate, answer your questions. I'm talking about the more complex situations than these questions tend to be. So, I'll do that kind of work for you. I'll help you with a resignation. Lots of different things that I'll help you with, and you can find out about them on my website, thebiggamehunter.us. Last point I'll make before I go into the questions is that if you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, send a connection request to me at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. Mention that you listen or watch the show. I love hearing from people who do that. It just makes me feel good. It helps me know that I am actually helping people. I know I get a lot of subscribers to this show and No BS Job Search Advice Radio. These two shows are the number 1 and number 2 podcasts in iTunes about job search. More episodes than any other show by far. So here are the questions I have for today. And the first one started off with a lament. The offer was rescinded. My offer was rescinded. I entered into a negotiation. It was relatively early. I asked for more money, and they rescinded the offer. And they're kind of looking for my comment about this. And my comment is, thank God. Thank God, because there's something about a culture that, from the way you describe it, you didn't do much. You asked them to increase the offer by a small amount. That when they turn around and they rescind the offer, they're sending a message to you about, number one, the kind of culture that they have. They want you to take orders, not ask questions. And number two, they kind of see you as a commodity. So, I'll simply say that thank goodness they rescinded this offer, because this is a culture unlike many that I see these days, where it's not about the negotiation, but there's a certain care for the job hunter that shows up very often in quality organizations. It's not like they're going to go through this lengthy back and forth over the course of weeks. No, this is not like a sports contract. It's not where there are 3 or 4 different competing teams. This tends to be straightforward over the course of a few days. They want a decision because they've got backup people. And to have an offer rescinded so quickly sends the message that you weren't that important to them. So that's the first question. Here's the second one. What does candidate withdrew mean on a job application? What it means is that the candidate took themselves out of the running. They don't want to be considered anymore for the position. And as such, they withdrew their candidacy from your firm. As a result, they're no longer being considered. They're out of the running by choice, not because they were rejected, but they themselves made the choice. Here's another great question. Can you do Skype job interviews through your phone? Yes, Skype has an app for phones. I know it has it for iPhones. I assume they have it for Android. So you can do a Skype job interview through your phone. You can do it with a lot of different platforms. So, for example, these days I tend to use Zoom. They have an app for the phone. The ability to do it through your phone. After all, what you're doing is clicking a link, they're downloading a utility. You can do the interview through your phone. As a matter of fact, with iPhone, it becomes an audio connection directly to someone rather than a video connection. Yes, you can do interviews through your phone for Skype because they have an app that allows you to do that. Is Twitter an effective tool for professional networking? Yes, and in some professions more than in others. So let's define professional networking. It doesn't necessarily mean job search. It does mean networking. You're getting to know people. It may eventually lead to cooperation in a job search, but initially it's just about making the connection and developing the relationship with someone that may or may not lead into assistance with your search. So again, Twitter can be very effective, just like any social network can be very effective for job hunting. So yes, spend some time on Twitter. I know it works very well in the communications spaces. By that I mean media and people who work in the industry of media rather than in the back office of media. And here's a fun one. I have asked many recruiters and companies about this, but I always get either non-answers or useless buzzwords. What do you look for when recruiting a graduate with no job experience? Big smile on my face, right? Because implied in this is they're not getting the answer that they want to hear. They want to see something, hear something concrete in the way of information. But what I'm going to tell you is when I looked for entry-level people, I didn't have to do it much because of the nature of the work I did tended to be more high level. But when I was less experienced, and I had a client in the hedge fund business that would ask me to find entry-level people. And what I was looking for was a clue. Some clue that indicated that they were special, some unique thing that differentiated themselves from all the others, something about their background that may be tied into the role. It didn't have to be much. Maybe it was their personality. Maybe it was an internship or something about their program. Yes, my clients, and I think there were 2 or 3 searches I did along these lines when I was relatively junior. My clients might specify a university, a degree program, some small iota of background that they wanted me to find in someone. It may have involved a certain personality type. So I was looking for a clue, anything, because frankly, as an entry-level person, you've got very little to sell. You took a number of courses and you got an undergraduate degree or a master's degree from some university. Great. You think you're the only one who ever has? No. There are a lot of people with those good degrees and good GPAs and good internships. So nothing special despite what your academic advisors may have been telling you. There are a lot of great universities in the United States and around the world. Your university may be no more special than any other. And I can think of obvious exceptions in individual fields, but here's the point. I'm looking for a clue, anything. Hey, Terry, a friend, someone I know joined and started to watch. So when looking at entry-level resumes, What concrete things am I looking for? Anything, a clue, something that tells me that you're a human being and not just another resume that comes across my desk saying the same crap like every other resume for an entry-level person. Let's get over yourself. You have an undergraduate degree. You have a master's. Big deal. A lot of people do. There's got to be something special to hook me in and something special related to a specific job. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. Again, if we're not connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request to me at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. Mention that you listen or watch the show because I love to hear from folks. It puts a smile on my face, helps me feel good. And if you're not following me on Facebook, visit facebook.com facebook.com/no BS coaching advice. If you follow the page there, you'll get notices about a lot more content that I release daily that will help you with your search. So again, facebook.com/no BS coaching advice. I'll be back soon with more. And in the meantime, hope you have a great day. Take care.